my friends Katie Day with the MOVEMETOTX Team at Coldwell Banker. Today we're in the Houston Heights off of Yale Street at Johnny's Gold Brick to meet with Benjy and hear more about this awesome neighborhood bar.
Hi, my name is Benjy Mason. I'm the owner of Johnny's Gold Brick in the Houston Heights. We're located at 2518 Yale Street, and we are a neighborhood cocktail bar. I opened Johnny's 5 years ago with the idea that neighborhood bars could also have great cocktails. At the time, I was the chef and director of operations for a restaurant group. Since then, Johnny's has really become a community gathering space and as well as a national cocktail destination. When we first opened Johnny's, the idea was that you should always be able to get a great cocktail at a fair price. We opened with our wall cocktails, so they were 10 cocktails that were painted on the wall, sort of your classic cocktails. And the idea was that we would always make those cocktails, we would always have them on the menu, and we would always make them, with fresh juice, the best ingredients. Since we opened, we've also implemented our monthly cocktail program. So every single month of the year, we release a menu of new cocktails, and everyone on staff is required to contribute at least one cocktail to the menu. They go through 3 rounds of taste testing and sort of dialing in. And so on the first of every month, we launch a menu of 6 to 8 new original cocktails. We came up with the name Johnny's. Is actually a good story. So we bought the bar. Before us, it was a wine bar called the Boom Boom Room, run by a very eccentric woman. When she had purchased it was a cocaine front called El Machete. So she turned it into the Boom Boom Room, and when we took it over, we wanted to update it, and we were looking at the old records for the property, and someone said, oh, when that bar first opened, it was actually an ice house, and it was called Johnny's Gold Brick. And we were like, well, that's it. That's a great name. Like, that's done. Our work here is done. And I don't know, maybe a year after we opened, someone came in and said, oh, my grandmother used to own the ice house here. And we're like, oh, that's so cool, like neighborhood history. And she said, yeah, why'd you call it Johnny's? And we said, well, that was what it was called. And she was like, no, my grandmother's name was Billy. It was called Billy's Gold Brick. And it actually still has her name written in the cement by the back. But at that point we were already Johnny's, and we kind of liked the way Johnny sounded anyway. So she actually comes back fairly often, and she loves the bar and approves of the name change. So that is how we became Johnny's Gold Brick. When we opened Johnny's, it was sort of after the first wave of craft cocktails had sort of hit Houston. And so, the first craft cocktail bars that opened were, there was sort of a seriousness to them, and, maybe a certain amount of pretentiousness to them. And we were really into what they were doing as far as cocktails, but the bars that we sort of really loved and identified with were more of the neighborhood, dive bar kind of places. And so that was really the idea behind Johnny's. Was always the cocktails are important, but the community is more important. And that, I think, that's kind of been our driving goal since we opened. And I think most people who come in really appreciate that. So we have a super diverse clientele. We have people who come here every day and never drink a cocktail. And then we have people who are here like clockwork on the first of each month to try all the new cocktails. And our thing is, it doesn't matter to us. Everyone's welcome here. Whether you want a Miller Lite and a shot, or you want to try, one of our more out there new cocktails. And so we really just want to be a place for people in the neighborhood to come and see their friends and have a good time. So my name is Benjy Mason again, and this is Johnny's Gold Brick. We are open 7 days a week. You can follow us on Instagram at Johnny'sGB. That's sort of our main source of information about the bar, and come on out. We hope to see you.